Hello there, and welcome to the EDC Empire. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Serge Knives Coin Claw Gen 5. Technically, this is the first generation of the Gen 5, which we'll kind of get talking about later on. But this is, of course, designed by Serge and this is a midtech, so it is OEM'd by Millet Knives in Idaho, so obviously made in the USA. The Coin Claw is the kind of automatic version of the Gen 5 Coin Claw is the automatic version of the past Coin Claws. So it is operated by pressing this button right here, and that is locked up with a plunge lock. It is running on bearings and is quite smooth. If you do the kind of metal complex test, it does pretty well. You can't just like bring it out a little bit, but I bet if I probably popped a little bit more oil in it and loosened up the pivot, it would do it. But really, there's plenty of power on this bad boy, and I really wouldn't want it much harder because of how kind of the ergos work on it. The blade is made of CPM S35VN. It is obviously a hawkbill, and it is partially flat ground, coming down to actually a surprisingly thin tip with how it's milled, but not a super thin BTE overall. The handle materials on this particular variant are carbon fiber with a titanium backspacer and a 440C button. That's kind of a fun little detail about the specs. But there are also handle frames or like frame slash handle, I guess, scale variants with titanium, and I believe, to my understanding, that's the more common one. I got this particular variant right off of the Serge Knives website, and it came in carbon fiber, which I think happens to look really, really good and is really, really well made. But we'll get into that a little bit later on. The measurements on this were a little bit weird. I've never reviewed a coin before. Usually they're pretty kind of cut dry. This is the blade length, but bear with me a little bit here. So the overall length when unfolded, which I measured like this, is 3.17 inches. But really you're going to be kind of holding it like this, which works fantastically. It's a really comfortable kind of just, well, I guess, claw it in and open up your package, for example. The diameter is 2 inches on this coin, and it has a width of about 0.4 inches, not including the button, which raises up just a smidge. Not a whole lot, just a smidge. And then we have a blade length, which I measured from here to here, of 1.24 inches, and an edge length of just under an inch at 0.92 inches. And then the blade stock is a little bit surprisingly thick at 0.125 inches, but like I said, it's very nicely milled, and it gets down to a surprisingly thin edge. And then we do have a weight of 1.30 ounces, which means that your blade to weight ratio is fine, but you aren't really, this is not really a blade to weight ratio king, but it doesn't really matter with this, honestly. I mean, it's almost an ounce. The titanium variants will probably be like 1.8 ounces maybe, but still, so half an ounce more, depending on how they're milled, but still not bad, and really can't complain. So, I mean, obviously, this is a very weird design, and what even really is it? Well, I mean, obviously, it is a variant of the Coin Claw, and like I mentioned earlier on, there is a kind of quote-unquote Gen 2, and that is called the Baby Raptor, but it is, from what I can tell on the website, still just, it's kind of a variation or a rendition or kind of a improved version of the Gen 5. And basically what it is the exact same thing, from what I can tell, same size, same blade, everything, except for this part right here is cut out so that it kind of just rounds over, and then same over here, there's like a little nubbin. So that way it's easier to kind of bring the blade in. Which, when I first got the blade, and when I've handed it to people, it's kind of awkward to get in, because your first inclination is to go here, and it is a little bit sharp here, but honestly, it's not bad once you get used to it. You can one-hand it. Here, let me see if I can demonstrate a one-handed closing. I mean, is it the most convenient ever? No, but I actually like that it's very coin-shaped in that nature. If I were to repurchase it, I don't think I would buy the Baby Raptor, because it definitely still does look like a knife at that point. And I guess you still have the nice kind of pinchability. I guess this would be a pinch grip of sorts, but you do kind of lose a little bit there. And honestly, I like that this is so coin shaped. It's very fun to play with in front of people, not opening the blade. It's just a fun coin, if you want to use it as that, which I definitely have. I've carried this since I got it pretty much every day. This has been a very long time in the running because this is a very expensive item. This retails the Baby Raptor 400. I believe this and titanium scales is 400. For some reason, I remember the version I got with the carbon fiber being 450, but don't quote me on it. Right now, all the variants that are available, which you can actually find the normal coin variant on at least Knife Center, but I believe a couple other retailers, and you can definitely get the Raptor or the Baby Raptor at least on the Serge Knives website, and all those are going to be 400 right now. I don't know if you can tell, I don't usually get quite this excited about different things, but I love this thing. I've been waiting for a while to do a recording, or on this. This thing's awesome. It's very snappy. It's a little bit annoying to close, like I mentioned, but that's really it. And honestly, I like that it's, like I said, I like that it's a coin shape. And this has got me really excited about checking out some more Serge Knives kind of models. I've had the production, not the midtech, but the production beans. I don't remember who makes them, but it's a decently small producer, and those aren't bad, but this is way cooler. And I've wanted to check out a couple other designs, but they're just so dang hard to get your hands on. But I definitely am going to have to keep my eye out for the midtech bean or something like that when they come out. But getting back on topic, the only complaint I really have, other than it being a little bit annoying to close, was mine personally came a little bit dull out of the box. Nothing crazy, but especially near the tip, I would say like this area right here on the blade, it was never particularly sharp. And as kind of that is where you're going to be using most of the blade most of the time, because I've found this really is just a bit of a package scrape open, kind of a alternative to your keys that's bougie, expensive, and kind of awesome. That should be a part that's sharper, and that was one complaint that I have, and I definitely think that it could have been, and I'm honestly a little bit disappointed in that respect. But other than that, Millet Knives did a fantastic job. Serge, as always, did a really good job with his designs. I love the aesthetic of these. It's well executed, looks nice, and feels really sturdy. Oh wait, I completely skipped over size comparisons. Size comparisons are kind of weird. It's smaller than a PM2 and Para 3, surprisingly. Or surprising no one, really. It's going to be smaller than all these. I don't have anything better to compare it to than my normal size comparisons. So we got the PM2 or not PM2, my goodness. The Delica 4 and Benchmade Bug Out. And then getting into our budget size comparisons, we have the QSP Penguin and CBB Elementum. I was too excited to review this thing. I've been waiting all day, actually. I had to do a couple of errands and important other things. Something more important than recording videos, I know. But I have been waiting all day to record and talk about this thing, and honestly, it is freaking awesome. I love it. I've carried it every day. It goes in my coin pocket on my jeans, or I'll just throw it in my pocket on pants that don't have a coin pocket, and it's held up really well. There's like no signs of wear on this. Oh, well, now that I say that, there's a little bit, some marks right there, but you can't really tell on the camera, and that's to be expected. The blade, sharpness-wise, is held up quite well. It's gotten duller, noticeably, but it's not bad, and with how much I've used it, it has basically replaced quite a few of my other knives. I've carried just this, which I'm usually carrying one or two knives just for review and because I like to. But I've honestly only carried this a couple days when I'm not like doing anything crazy, and it's all you really need and all I've ever really found a need for most days, unless you're going out to do some crazy work stuff. Pretty good for stripping wires as well. I personally always like to use a bit of a traditional knife, but for that, because their pen blades tend to work really well for that, but this works pretty well as well. So yeah, overall, I love this thing. Yeah, I'd love to hear what you guys think about the normal, or this coin variant, I guess, of the Gen 5 versus the Baby Raptor, and what you think of the Gen 5 versus previous generations. I've never experienced any of the other variants, so this is just my take on this. It's expensive, it's kind of bougie, but it's kind of awesome. People spend a lot of money on fidget toys, and this is kind of my version, or my little love in terms of a fidget toy. Yeah, I really like it. Comment down below what you think about it, and if you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing. Thanks for watching.